Hi everyone. So this video is to walk you guys very quickly through your second essay assignment. In this essay, you are essentially taking what you did in the first essay and you're expanding on it with a lot more depth and research. So that's why I asked in the first essay that you choose a topic that you would be willing to write about for 2 essays. So what you're going to do is basically take the essay that you have and then expand on it with a minimum of at least 4 research sources, one of which has to be a real in-person interview that you perform. So your ultimate essay is going to be 5 to 6 pages in length and is due on Sunday, July 15th at midnight. As usual, MLA formatting, everything is checked through plagiarism detection, and full page length all the way down to the bottom is required. Otherwise, I do have to take off points. Importantly, you're going to keep the same topic as essay number 1, same stance, but you are going to add a lot of more credibility to your argument with this outside published research from credible sources. So your essay needs to continue to have the same parts of the argument, the introduction, the body, with lots of good evidence. This is where the evidence comes in, where that we didn't have in the first essay, where you had logic. This time you have logic and outside evidence, and a solid conclusion. Make sure that you still have a concrete thesis. You have at least 3 reasons with solid evidence from your sources. This means you pull quotes from your sources and use them to illustrate or show what you're talking about. The point of having evidence is not just to stick quotes in, it's to support your claims with someone who has been published thoughts and opinions. So if I am telling you, for example, that the Dallas Cowboys are America's greatest football team, and you don't believe me, if I pull in an ESPN analyst and Tom Brady and another player from a different team, and they all tell you that the Cowboys are the best team in America, then you're probably going to have a little more inclination to believe me than if I was the one just sitting there saying that to you. So you're going to have good solid evidence. As always, you're going to make sure you take into account the other point of view and then refute those opposing views with good logic, and then making sure that you're using the appropriate number and use of required sources. So this is making sure that you're using 4 outside sources, at least one of which is an interview. So when you go to turn this in, there will be a couple things that you'll turn in. You will turn in your annotated bibliography, which is an assignment that you're going to do during one of these weeks. In your annotated bib, you're actually going to look at 6 to 8 sources. You only need to have 4 in your essay. Whichever 3 you like, plus at least one of your interview, at least one interview. You're also going to turn in your final essay with a bibliography, and part of your grade is going to be an activity that you don't need to turn in again, but I'll have the grade for it, so it's going to be a quick pre-research activity that you'll be doing this week. So I've given you a couple guides here. Just as a reminder, you'll have a separate example when you go to do this actual assignment, but I've given you a guide for an annotated bib and how you can kind of structure one. Essentially, an annotated bib has 3 parts: a citation, a summary, and an evaluation or reflection of the source. I've also given you, this is something from the college, optional helpful ways to do your interviews. So if you're doing an in-person interview and you don't want to be looking down a piece of paper the whole time, a note card taking strategy can help with facilitating that interview. And then lastly, I've given you an interview guide. You should look for people who are connected to the topic and who have credibility. So you don't want to just pick your friend's opinion on gun control because they saw something on the news once. You want to pick somebody who is connected to the issue or who has some kind of expertise. So local law enforcement, or someone who owns a gun, or someone who is involved in the topic in some way. Making sure that what you're pulling from that interview is, again, solid, credible evidence to help support your claim. So if you guys have any questions about this, let me know. But otherwise, it should be pretty simple. You're expanding on your first essay with good evidence, 4 sources at minimum, one of which has to be an interview. Please let me know if you have any questions.